Hey y'all, what is up? Happy Monday. I said I was gonna wait for there to be 8 people on here, but it looks like there's six, so I'm gonna go ahead. Um, welcome to my series of videos, State of Black Motherhood Talks. I'm not excited. I'm gonna be honest, I'm tired today. I'm tired. I just came back from dropping my son off at school and I am very tired. But I'm still here. I am still ready to talk to you ladies, talk to you mamas and mompreneurs about manifestation, which is like a buzzword now. Hey, Kara, thank you for tuning in, which is like a buzzword now. But I take the manifestation thing very seriously, mostly because I'm a person who is very spiritual. And so I know that manifestation is something we do in a spiritual way, and not to confuse spiritual with spookism, because I don't do spookism. But it is something that we do as a rhythm, as a pattern of life. And so wanting to talk about that, specifically wanting to talk about that under the guise of mompreneurship and how we manifest, because everybody wants to manifest a business these days, right? Everybody wants to manifest to be an influencer or to have a six-figure business, all these things, which we are all perfectly capable of and we all can absolutely do. But we also need to be very careful about what we manifest, how we manifest, and when we manifest, because every moment in your life is not meant for big manifestation. Some moments are meant for small manifestation. And there are rhythms and patterns to life that let us know when we are supposed to be manifesting what. And if we really want to demystify the word manifest, reality is it just means to make something happen. That's all it is. You're just making something happen. Something happens as a result of you engaging in certain behaviors in a certain way. And of course, that can happen by accident and it can also happen on purpose. And so I want to start out with just a short story about my own experience with manifesting. And so the one time in my life that I know that I absolutely on purpose manifested something was when I did my TED Talk. Actually, not the TED Talk itself, but actually getting the TED Talk. I remember that summer, I had decided that one of my main goals, and I am a 5 personality numerologically, which means I have a lot of goals, I have a lot of things I like to do. But I decided that summer that I was going to manifest a TED Talk. I was like, I want to do a TED Talk, and I know I'm a great speaker and I have a story to tell. I want to do it. And so what I did was I wrote out all my affirmations about being a TEDx speaker and I posted them on my dresser. And every morning I got up and said these affirmations. In addition to that, when I got in the shower every morning, I would recite, I'm not sharing it, but I would recite something to myself that I would say with music behind it. And in addition to that, I started to like pull back from some other things that I was doing in order to make space for it in my life. And when I tell you it literally took 2 months for me to manifest that TED Talk, that's what it did. It took 2 months, 2 months of doing that every single day. I did the same routine every single day with confidence, and it happened. And I don't say that to say that, like, if you do what I just did, you're going to get the exact same result. But what I know for myself is that that is a way that I can manifest things, is that I can manifest things through the power of making space. I can manifest things through the power of my words. I also know that my throat chakra is lit. Like that's a part of me that is a gift that God has given me, is that when I open my mouth, it is unique. It is something that God has given me. So that's one of the ways that I've learned that I can manifest. But it's not the only way I can manifest. I've also learned some other ways that I can manifest. And the goal of today's talk is to help you recognize how you manifest, that it is a rhythm, it is a pattern. And depending on who you are and depending on what your gifts and talents are, depending what God blessed you with, is also dependent upon how you manifest in your life. So let's get into it. So let me get my notes because I want to make sure yes, that I stay on task. So oftentimes when we manifest, we are not ready for the outcome of our manifestation. And I always remember something that I always try to remind myself to tell myself is where I am at currently in my life is a huge marker for what I can manifest. So if I'm going through a period of rough seas, I know it's not a time for me to manifest things because the what I'm putting out into the world is not necessarily on the vibrational frequency of what I actually want to manifest. So you have to be very careful with that. It's not necessarily about being obsessed with the outcome as much as it is understanding and knowing the vibrational frequency that you exist on. And when I say vibrational frequency, all I'm talking about is the tone of your life. Like what is currently the tone of your life? Because at the end of the day, what you are is propelling into the future who you're going to become at that moment. Now, that's not to say that it's stagnant because it's not stagnant. You at any given moment can change your idea. You can change your mindset. You can change where you are in this world and be in a completely different vibrational frequency. But you have to be very careful of the vibrational frequency you are in when you are manifesting. It's no different than the laws of science that we learn about in school. Like attracts like. It's that simple. So if you are in a vibrational frequency, let's say you're going through a really hard breakup right now, and the frequency that you are in feels heavy, feels as if it is stagnant. That's not the frequency of vibration. You can't necessarily manifest in that. Or let me say, you can manifest in that vibration, but you can't manifest anything that feels different from your current reality. So you have to understand that when you are, and you can't fake it. That's the thing with energy. Energy can't be faked. It is what it is. It's going to be what it's going to be. If you are in a specific place, if your energy feels a certain type of way, you can't fake that. You can decide you're going to cover it up. You can put some cute clothes on it. You can go out anyway. You can do all those things, but you know what your energy is when you lay down at night. You know how you feel in your quietest of moments. And you need to use that as a marker for figuring out, is this the time for me to manifest that more perfect, that more, not perfect, but that more positive thing that I want? Or is this a time for me to get this vibrational frequency to go higher? In my book, The Brown Mama Mindset, I oftentimes talk about moving from one vibrational frequency to the other. And how do you do that? How do you move from one vibrational frequency to the other? And the answer is slow. That's how you move from one vibrational frequency to the other. You move slowly. You have to take your time. You have to really understand where you are. And then you have to move from anger to melancholy, and then from melancholy to sad, and then from sad to just numb, and then from numb to maybe a little bit happy. It doesn't happen overnight. And oftentimes we think that, sorry, I have a sick child at home, so you might hear him coughing. Oftentimes we think that we can manifest from any frequency, and you just cannot, because the reality is you can only manifest by going through. Some people want to manifest over and under and beside and on this side. You cannot. You have to go through. It is a frequency. The frequency is no different than, it's a frequency is just a wave. We are all vibrational beings. We are interacting in a vibrational space. Our hearts beat. The earth is turning. Everything is moving around us. And so you can't really, you must understand that you have to get in alignment with the movements of your life. And so you have to go through your experiences. We don't manifest over things or under things. We manifest through people, places, and experience. And manifestation it can't become your obsession. I always like to remind myself that the best way to manifest is when you are in playful creation with the creator, which means that it's not even necessarily something you are pushing an outcome for as much as it is that you are dancing with God. You are in a space in your life where you are allowing, where you are surrendering, where you are in full not even understanding. I don't even like to use that word in this context, but you really are in a place of surrender. Like, I don't necessarily know what's best for me, but I know that everything is working out for me. And so in that space, it becomes clearer for you to understand the signs. It becomes clearer for you to understand the symbols and the rhythms of your life. And you can see when you slow your life down to a pace that is manageable for yourself, it's Very interesting how clear things become. Everything begins to speak to you. The trees speak to you. People speak to you, even without words. Experiences begin to speak to you. But oftentimes we're in this space of, I see a lot of people on Instagram like, oh, I want to manifest. Let me light the sage. Let me burn the candle. Let me say 22 prayers. And you can manifest something in that. You can. You absolutely can. But the question is, what is the vibrational frequency of that going to be? And have you done the work beforehand to get yourself into a vibrational frequency where you can use force in a playful way? Because force doesn't always have to be a punch. Force can be a hug. Everybody thinks about force and they think of it as something that is pushy, harsh. It doesn't always have to be that way. Force can be very loving. Force can be very heartfelt and thoughtful. And so I always like to break manifestation down into 4 categories. Various people manifest in these 4 different ways, and they align with the elements of the earth: fire, water, air, earth. So some people manifest through fire. Fire forces a state of change. It is a way of destroying and rebuilding. It is a way of um, making change happen with passion. And everybody manifests in different ways depending upon who you are as an individual. And some of us manifest in a collection of ways. Some of us use a little bit of fire, a little bit of earth, a little bit of water, a little bit of air, just depending upon who you are. But people who manifest through fire are oftentimes people that need to have some type of change happen in order to push manifestation in their life, in order to manifest on a certain frequency. And those are your people who are oftentimes here to show us different ways of living. They're oftentimes here to be ragers or be disruptors, should I say. And they can manifest through disruption. You ever meet somebody and it just seems like no matter what they go through, you can't knock them down? Those are fire manifestors. They actually manifest in states of change. States of change help them to manifest. They're great at manifesting in those ways. Then you have your water manifestors. Water manifestors are people who don't need a whole lot, quite honestly. They can use gentle force, a hug, a touch, advice in order to manifest or make change happen in some type of in a situation in their interactions with people. They oftentimes are your people who are gentle souls. They care a lot. They love a lot. I when I think about water manifestors, I think about Pisces and Scorpios. They literally have the ability to change people just by their presence, just by words. Pisces and Scorpios are oftentimes people who don't speak a lot, but when they speak, their words are felt. So they oftentimes manifest. Good question, Deli. I'll answer that at the end. They oftentimes manifest focused on gentleness. You don't even know that they're changing you, and they're just changing you organically being in the room. I know a lot of people like that. Then you have your air manifestors. And these are oftentimes your intercessory prayer folks. These are your people that can go into spirit realm and change things through prayer, through um, you know, meditation, through air, really. Oftentimes they are very mindful, thoughtful, creative people. These are oftentimes people who change people through art. They can manifest through art. They can manifest something just through a brushstroke, something you see that ignites the mind. When I think of air, I'm thinking about the mind, the thoughts, all of those type of things. There are people who can push things to change just by expressing an idea that goes out into thin air and then crawls into crevices of people's minds and experiences and changes the very being and way that they think about things. And then you have your people who manifest through earth. And these are your people who don't budge. They don't change. You ever meet somebody that's just like, I gotta change because they ain't gonna change? Well, those are your earth people. Those are your people who really, I love those people because they are the salt of the earth. They are so convicted by who they are, by what they stand for, that they literally shift and change things around them because they have such a fixed personality and fixed way of being. And none of these ways of manifesting are wrong. And all of them are utilized in a various amount of ways. I know for me, I'm a fire and an air manifester. So I am literally a person that comes into situations to change the state of the situation. And I have brilliant ideas. So Deli asked the question, how do you people know what type of manifestation you have? You have to pay attention to the rhythms of your life. Everybody wants to be able to take a test. Everybody wants to be able to say, like, if I check 1, 2, 5 boxes, this is the type of manifester I am. No, do you know yourself? Have you taken out enough time to really understand the script that you are writing in your life? And that's why I love entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship, what about the people who just help people to change? Okay, Teresa, you didn't understand. You need to go back and listen. Go back and listen to the beginning. So all of these ways are ways that people help people to change. We all just do it differently. We all do it differently. Some of us do it by standing in our convictions. Others of us do it through relationship and through light touch and through love. Others of us do it by coming in and destroying and rebuilding. Others of us do it by the ideas and thoughts and prayers we put out into the world. You have to know the rhythms of your life. You have to sit down and look at your script that you've written, and you have to start to recognize those patterns. And then it's not easy to do because we live inside a societal context that is constantly telling us to move, to do. And it's hard to know yourself when all you do is do. And I know that as a person who has went through periods of times where all I did was do. So it's really important as we are entering this stage, this phase, the age of Aquarius, where the feminine is coming to the foreground, it's really important that we begin to understand that manifestation is varied. And it's also intimate. You manifest, like I said, an individual can manifest in a myriad of different ways. It's up to you to figure out how that happens. It's up to you to sit down and understand the rhythms and the patterns of your life. And, you know, you have to know what to use when. So, one of the things that I know for sure that is, as human beings, as superhuman beings, like I like to say, we are all blessed with some type of gift from God. Everybody talks about empaths all the time, which I can appreciate when people talk about empaths. But the reality is, all of us are empaths. We are humans. Humans are meant to feel humans. So you're not special because you're an empath. We are right now placing heavy value on emotional empathy. But the reality is, we are all empathetic in a myriad of ways. And one of the issues with our past, one of the issues with the way the Western cultural context has affected us, is that it has allowed us to objectify things. We objectify manifestation, we objectify empathy. Everybody feels everybody. Humans feel humans. Some of us, again, we are empathetic through our minds. Others of us are empathetic through our bodies. Others of us are empathetic through our emotions, while still some of us are empathetic through our spirits. Everybody holds their people, their interactions with people in different places. So as you are, I wish there was another word for entrepreneurship, because really what we're doing as human beings when we're going out into the world and we are seeking to make money, which is just a currency for choices, what we're actually doing is seeking out ways to interact with each other. We're seeking out ways to utilize our God-given talents and abilities to interact with other people. And so Instead of it being something that is heavily commerce driven, instead of it being something that is heavily driven by what we can make and get from one another, what we need to begin to consider is what level of interaction, what type of empathy do I need to have with this individual in order that we might have an optimum interaction? And then what level of manifestation do I need to engage in? Or what kind, what tone, what type of manifestation do I need to engage in order that my gifts might best be brought to the surface in a way that best glorifies the God that has created us? So when we talk about entrepreneurship and talk about manifestation or talk about entrepreneurship as an output of manifestation, we need to begin to think on a higher level. We need to begin to think much deeper and much broader. We need to begin to think about how our interactions with one another are affecting the humans that we are interacting with, and not just thinking about this as a capital building exercise, because then we become like the people who founded this country who didn't give a damn. And so when I talk about manifestation, I'm not talking about I am a money magnet, I am a money magnet. Yes, you can be a money magnet. I truly believe everybody can be a money magnet in terms of money as a representation of having more choices in your life and in your lifestyle. But this isn't about, if anybody asks me how I was able to have the success that I've had right now, it's because I cared about people. And me caring about people doesn't always mean that I've had the best interactions with people. I just know that I've tried to prioritize caring about people and then trying to also care about myself, quite honestly. Like just trying to always bring those interactions back to a place where I could understand what God is trying to manifest through me in terms of these interactions. So, as mompreneurs in particular, as women who are blessed to give birth twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, whether it be giving birth to children or whether it be giving birth to ideas, giving birth to the mind, giving birth to the heart, giving birth to spiritual practice, as mompreneurs, let's not get obsessed with entrepreneurship as a form of capitalistic idolatry. And let's begin to get really obsessed with how we are showing up in the lives of the people that we are meant to help, and begin to really understand what we are here to do and how we can best serve one another. And so, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to talk about today. Is just I probably need to have better endings for these videos. But if I can't leave you with anything else, what I want to leave you with is just really understanding that manifestation is something that should be happening from a place that is much deeper than what you can get in your pockets. And if it's not, then you're never going to be the person who people look to for inspiration. You might be a person who people look to for command, to get power, for control, to be able to grasp the minds of other people. But you won't become a person who people are inspired by, who people just love because of what they've given and how they've served and the spirit with which they've served in. So I want to go back to my quick story about the TEDx speech. So, like I said at the beginning, I was able to manifest that TEDx speech. And it was a great experience. I will never take anything from that experience. I will never take anything from any of the experiences I've had over the last 10 years of running Brown Mamas. But what I can tell you was that the beginning of that TEDx speech, the beginning of that era of my life, was also the beginning of an era of my life where I really ran myself into the ground. So yeah, I did. I manifested that through force. I said my affirmations. I did all of the things, said all the things I needed to say, believed in it with my whole heart. But the manifestation of it ultimately did not give me what I was looking for. And in my second era of entrepreneurship, I'm more so going to be focused and obsessed with love, with interaction, with fulfilling my heart's desires. And I hope that you will do that too. And I'm sorry if I didn't get on here and tell you, you could make $1 million by lighting candles and sage and saying the right prayers and, setting up your Facebook automations. That's never going to be me. But what I am going to tell you is that you can manifest a career, an entrepreneurship journey, a motherhood journey, an experience with another individual with ease just by understanding the rhythms and patterns of your life, just by getting really in sync with your heart. Well, really, it's with syncing your heart, your mind, your spirit, and you know, your outward projection. It's not difficult. It's not nearly as difficult as you think it is. It's really just about getting into alignment. And if you're not in alignment, you really need to consider what it is you're actually trying to manifest. If you can sit with yourself right now for 5 minutes and you don't feel aligned, meaning there is a part of you that is not in love with you, then you need to really consider, is this the time for you to manifest something in your life? Or is this the time for you, or is this the time for you to manifest externally? Or is this the time for you to manifest internally? And both are so, 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 so valuable. Both are very, very valuable. I think oftentimes we forget to really honor the need to manifest internally. And internally can be with you, it can be with the people who are really close to you, it can be in your home, it can be setting a new stage with which to manifest externally. But you can't manifest externally when your internal is not right, or should I say righteous, when it doesn't feel righteous. Because something we have to understand is that it's only the righteous desires of your heart that even deserve to be manifested. The ones that are not righteous, which means they're not coming from a place of love, they're not coming from a place of care, of genuine care and concern, you might not want to do that. So I hope this was helpful. And I think I got one more week, but I'm going to keep it 100 with y'all. I might not do one more week. I'm just saying how I feel today. I might not do one more week. I might, and I might not. So stay tuned for next for next week, possibly. Um, but also I do want to just plug real quick that I am doing some peace and prosperity calls. I'm really looking to work one-on-one with mompreneurs in the next leg of entrepreneurship for myself. And I will be launching some VIP days. But first, I need to talk to people. I need to talk to people. I need to understand your business, and I need to know if you would even be a good fit for a VIP day. I think right now I have one left. Somebody canceled this morning, so I have. Well, actually, no, I don't even get that because it would have been at 12 o'clock, and it's not happening. So that's not happening. But you could definitely send me an inbox. And when I have some more times put out, I will let you know, or if I get any cancellations. So really excited for that next era, and I hope this was helpful for somebody. And even if it wasn't, I'm glad that I got it off my chest. So thank y'all for tuning in. I'm looking forward to continuing to see you, to be in your presence. And thank you, thank you, thank you for your support, whether you came on this video for 1 second or whether you stayed for the whole time. I surely do appreciate you. All right. Peace and have a great day.